So this is the starting town that you get to after you get kicked out of the Empire. Zave, are you with me? Have I explained this at all accurately? I haven't, have I? The last party member, Minwoo, like the last one is a rotating party member. So like he'll leave and then I know another one will come in and then they'll leave. And you level up by, you don't get levels. You get, your skills go up. So like Firion has swords, so the more I use a sword, the higher his sword skill gets. If that makes sense. I mean, it should make sense. And same thing with magic. So Maria originally was in the back row with a bow, and I was like, that's stupid. So I took her weapons off, made her a monk, but also she has magic. So the more it casts fire, the stronger it gets. You read Maria with the intonation of Maria. Maria! There you go. Also, I forgot to tell everyone I'm live. Hold on. Not that it matters, but I gotta try to spam myself everywhere. Bad guys kicked our ass, we fight back now. Yes, that's basically it. Very simple so far. The model's really cool too, thank you! This is a pay-to-use one, so it's not like unique to me. But I thought she was super duper cute. Since I'm poor, you know, I gotta use what I can. I keep telling people if they ever want to like stream in VTube, you can find some really cute models. You could even be like fish or octopi or just really cute things. I can be a slime if I want. Work with what you got? Yes. One day I will learn to do like how to rig models myself when I finally suck it up and do it. It's not gonna be easy. And then I'll make my own. You'd be a static set of shapes and your expression changes shape. You could actually do that with ping tubing and stuff like that. I think. Okay. I have now let everybody know that I am live. I think. There. There's a program called Honk. You have to buy it, but I could just give it to you if you want to save. It might take a little finagling to figure out how to do what, but different sounds can... Technically, what it does is different... sounds activate different mouth forms, so you can look like you're talking a little more from a static image, but you could just make different sounds be different complete images, so you could be like this chaotic, abstract, moving image. It sounds horrifying, but you might like it. Hi Discord Andreas! I'm going to become a VTuber in August, actually. I VTube when I game, and I've been gaming a lot lately. But, when I do art... God damn it, you stupid controller. Sorry. Then I put my face. I put my face on, but I am definitely not putting my face on right now because I bleached my blue hair and I didn't bluify it, so I look like a big skunk right now with two big blonde stripes. It's insane. Yeah, biblically accurate angel energy is what you... Yeah. If you actually... Legit, say if you were willing to put in maybe like an hour to just figure it all out, you could do it. Really, really. Hi, Master Bismuth. Pics of skunk... No, and also the picture is in Discord. It's in pics and vids if you want to see what I look like. Been away for a while? I haven't streamed too consistently for a little bit, so that's my fault. I'm doing better now. I am going to be as consistent as possible. Okay. So I need to... hold on. I underlined this. Go to Bafsk. Also, these names are insane for a Japanese game. There was a guy named Scott. I think there was someone named Bob. Okay, go to Bafsk. Alright, so also, fair warning. There's gonna be a lot of rambles, and there is a very high encounter rate. So, a lot of battles. You're going on your 5th month. of consistently not streaming. Congratulations. Good job. Yeah, too Western. That's what it freaked me out. It was like Scott, and then there were some other American names, and it just threw me completely off. This dude's named Furion. What kind of name? Little guy? I hate. Yeah, there might have been a Mike. I was like, what is this? Who are you? All right, so go to Bafsk. Hold on, I have a canoe. Ah. Canoe lets me ride around in lake and river water. Okay. Hold on. I'm charging up my brain to remember stuff. Oh, okay. So Bafsk. Poft. Oh, maybe I have to fly there. No, I can walk everywhere. Screw this. We're walking. I'm saving money. No, I'm not walking. I changed my... I'm terrible at this, I'm sorry. Oh, I gave Guy a spear, I guess? I decided to... I don't know. He had an axe originally. Britannia from the Ultima games, or So You Feel It. I'm trying to remind myself, remember that these are... this is an NES game, originally. So I need to remember simple. As I tend to overcomplicate everything, and I don't mean to. The good thing is auto battles makes this a little faster. Oh, wait. Wait. Okay, no, I did Mithril. Yeah. Alright. I'm starting to remember. Auto battle and fast forward? Yes. Well, not fast forward, but, on the NES, on the Switch, the NES emulator, especially when I'm playing puzzle games, the rewind function is phenomenal. Alright. So this is Poft. Also these town names are really something else. And to hitch a ride, how much money do I have? I do have money. How many items do I have? Why did I not get more items? Hold, please. Hold on. I always have too many items. Oh yeah, there's three item dudes for some reason. Okay, remove curses. Hold up a minute. What up? Yeah, potions. That's a good number for potions. Yeah. Okay. And this is... I'm gonna need this at one time. It's so expensive. Oh my gosh. Okay. It's kind of neat that you can buy elixirs. How you live in a town named Poft and have the name of Scott? Scott lives in... I can't remember. Did Scott die? Oh, I should have written down. Oh, just to remind you. Okay. Alright. So we talked to everyone here already. Let me just make sure my weapons are up to snuff. Okay, we don't need any of that. Alright, so I gave him a spear, I gave him a sword, I gave her her fists, and that was that. Is there magic? Okay. How is the magic? Did I get all the magic I wanted? Everyone's got cure. So I thought in like 5? 4? I thought Blink makes it so you don't get hit by physical attacks. But this is just, it makes your, raises your evasion, which it says it right there, and I should have maybe read it, but you know. Yahaha! Discord Andreas, thank you! Thank you for the sub! Welcome back! Thank you, enjoy your emotes. I really appreciate that. Okay, protect does defense. Oh shit! There you go. I was like, one of these is the correct button. Worries for another day. Let the music play.
Oh, we resubbing?
Yes, sorry. Yes, so the special month specific ones override the base ones. Sorry, I was actually trying to think of that. Anyway, OJ, thank you for the 36 months at tier 3. Holy shit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. You guys are really sweet. Also, Fraggle Rock is amazing and deserves its own little alert once in a while. Okay. Okay. Alright, magic defense, protect, so we're gonna get 2 of these and 2 of these. And we're going to... What, once in a while? Once every 3... Not, well, once, yeah. At the 3-year mark, you get some Fraggle Rock. I like Fury. You know what? Yes. Hello, I'll mostly be lurking. Hope everyone has a nice day. Natsu Vega, thank you. Thank you very much for lurking. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a good day too. Alright, so we kind of got some magic on people just in case. Everything needs to be leveled up. I don't know what leveling up like protect does. I'm assuming it either lasts longer or protects harder, you know? Also, I forgot. The whole point was I wanted to fly to Bafsk. I don't know where Bafsk is, so we're flying there and then we'll figure it out. Can I interest you folks in a ride on Sid's Pride and Joy, the only airship of its kind in all the world? No matter how far, we'll take you to your destination in the blink of an eye. Of course, transportation of this fine caliber comes at a cost. Interested? Oh, Bafsk is cheap. Ah, I can go to Summit Falls. Gatria? Hold on, I have a map. Okay, that's a little town. This is, Altair is the starting town you start in. Kashuan. I have no idea what that town is. Did I go there? I'll figure it out, alright. Anyway, we're going to Bafsk. Typing's hard when waking up, go back to sleep, you need some rest. Heh, thanks buddy. The airship will be waiting for you outside. Anyway, enjoy your emotes. To Bafsk we go. Oh, it's over here. Yeah, I'm just wandering around. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so I could... I could have literally walked to Bafsk too. Alright, this is very good to know. Well, damn. Yeah. Oh shit. Discord Andreas, thank you for gifting a sub to Kurl. Thank you, thank you. You guys are so bad. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Enjoy your emotes. Aww. You have a cat rubbing on your face? And purring? Okay. Oh shit. Jeez. Alright. Let's see if I can do some audio balancing. This game, the audio levels are... Oh yeah, you know what? Shit, I can do this. I can put my audio levels back to normal over here. And play with this button over here. Yes. That'll get the scam train going. Oh shit, I see. I forgot how that's supposed to work. I'm sorry. Thanks, Phil. Alright. That should be good. Oh, it's gotta be anonymous. So gifted subs don't work with the scam hype train. God, you guys got me calling it scam train. Oh shit. Well, no, I mean...
Kneel before your queen.
Anonymous. Thank you for gifting a sub to Far Eastern. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I don't know how I don't know how hype trains really work. It's a surprise to me every time. Thanks. Oh. What's going on? Was that part of the anonymous gift thing? I don't know what's going on, but thank you guys. Alright. You'll need a pass aboard the Dreadnought. You're with the rebels, right? You've got to destroy the Dreadnought. There's a rebel spy masquerading as an Imperial soldier. Oh god, shit, what's going on? Skirt Andreas, thank you for gifting a sub to Innocence Lost. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I can't help you with how to start a hype train. I have no idea how that works. I have it set to the lowest possible setting value. That's all I got. Anonymous Discord Andreas, thank you. Thank you. Mysterious person. Oh my god, a totally anonymous person. Totally don't know who you are. Thank you so much for gifting for gifting us sub to Monkey Snacks. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Oh my god. This is hilarious. Oh, you guys are hilarious to me. Oh, I see this. Claytrap, thank you for the 200 biddies. Oh my god. No, you tried, and I appreciate that.
Needs to be different people.
Thank you so much. Oh my god. This is hilarious. Alright. Oops, I pressed buttons. Anyway, thank you guys. Oh, see, look, you got level 2 hype train. Perfect. Dave, thank you for the 1 biddy. If you get him to, or if you can get to him, I'm sure he'll have some important information for you. Oh, Broken, thank you for the 100 biddies. Thank you so much. Oh my god, you guys are so nice. Not that you're not normally nice, you're being extra nice. Jesus, every time I say this, you start yelling at me. Excuse me. Anyway. So there's an Imperial spy in here. If I talk to this dude, he might kill me. Let's find out. Oh no. When is the Dark Knight coming back? At this rate, we're going to fall behind schedule for sure. What's... Borgin? What's this? Back to work. Work, I say. If we finish even 1 day sooner, my glory will be exponentially greater. Because I always say today. Well... Should I say present time? You are all very nice in the present time. Thank you. General Borgin is not dealing with these peasants as he should be. Okay. Get back to work. I swear no one wants to work under General Borgin. Okay, nobody likes General Borgin. Making us work like slaves. I hate that Borgin. Being used by a man like that really makes my blood boil. It's weird though. I can't seem to remember what things were like when the Dark Knight was in command. Oh. Whenever Warner Brother needs money. Yes. Alright, I spent all my money like an idiot, so... Oh no, we're good. So this game has a big lack of hidden items to pick up. Just something I've noticed. So let's make sure... Bronze? Am I wearing bronze? So, ooh. Get some silver. Okay, does anyone know anything about Final Fantasy II? Hey Skippy, how you doing? Who we bamboozling? I don't know yet. Because I have a question. I'm going to make Maria a monk, I guess. And the game in the tutorial said, no fists. Yeah, it's a hey chat moment. So hey chat. The game said no fists, no shield, make good monk. Can I wear armor? That's all I'm curious about. It seems like I can wear armor and she can still be a monk, but I don't know for a fact. Oh, that's why you come here? I know the thing about Final Fantasy II, it came out after 1. Alright, well we're just gonna buy armor and see what happens. Body. Discord Andreas. You sacrifice your points to the Demon Lord. The Demon Lord is satisfied. Just let me find your name. Did I spell you right? Speak, please. Or speak again. More speaking. There you go. So one of those nice demon lords and isekais. Well, this demon lord gives you VIP for a day. And you fed him, so... sort of. Are you a spy? I don't feel like working at all with that buffoon Borgin in charge. The thought of doing anything for his precious glory makes me sick to my stomach. Okay. Will you take it? Well, thank you for the hype train. I got, what did I get? Hold on. I thought I already had this emote. I got the, green Squirtle. Is that a fish with a hair? Oh, it's a pat. I thought that fish had like a crazy swoopy front hair. There are multiple of the Squirtles? Lazy bastards. You still never have the one you want to watch? I have the same problem. I do. Okay. Let me make sure all the items are the same. Making Porter read emotes. I saw an emote in a chat, like a channel recently, that was like a happy arms up kind of hype. But the way it was shaded made it look like the emote had a like gray stubble. It was supposed to be a happy pretty girl, and once I clicked it I understood what it was, but at first glance I was like, what an odd looking emote. Okay. I try to sleep in every inn for no reason other than I can. Have I spoken to you? Yes. Yeah, there could be secret achievements. Not a big achievement hunter, but Fear Tome. Strike fear in the target's heart, making them more likely to flee. Basuna. Cure status ailments temporarily when used in battle. What? What do you mean temporarily? Esuna cure status ailments when used in battle. Why would I want to temporarily cure bad ailments? I don't... Not... Okay. I'm looking that up. I need to know. Give me a second. Why on earth would I want Basuna? It cures status effects that normally wear off over time or at the end of battle. Oh! Okay, here's something I didn't know. It helps a bit, but then comes back. Say, at level 1, the spell will only be able to remove the venom status. At 2, it will be able to heal sleep, silence, can be removed at 3, mini at 4, paralysis at 5, and finally confuse. Alright, so then if I do... Excuse me. Final Fantasy... 2, Esuna. As the spell level up by casting in battle. Okay, so at 1 it removes poison and darkness. 2, it removes curse, amnesia. What the hell is amnesia? Toad, stone. Okay, that's interesting. Amnesia prevents the use of spells. Okay, so it's silence. It's silence before it was silence? Okay, alright, so there's... alright. This is good to know. I want this because I don't want spells that last forever. Imagine syphilis, a status effect in Final Fantasy games. No, a reprieve from syphilis is still better than just having syphilis. True, but like... So when I was playing this game, I got poisoned, the battle ended, and I was like, oh, I'm poisoned. But then it was gone. And I was like, oh, poison doesn't stay after battle. But then in another battle, I got poisoned, it ended, and I was still poisoned. So I think venom and poison are two different things, which require two different spells. Which seems absolutely ridiculous. Alright. And the more you level up the spell, the more things it can heal. This is a whole thing. I didn't even... Have I talked to you? General Borgin took command of things in Basque a short while ago. Things have gotten much easier than they were under the Dark Knight. It's hard to believe a bumbling idiot like Borgin could become a general in the Imperial Army. Oops, you didn't hear that. Do you know about Wild Rose? Oh, you do? Aha, you're one of us. I had to be careful about what I did while the Dark Knight was here looking over my shoulder. But the great General Borgin is anything but. He's just a domineering blowhard. So you're the ones they sent to destroy the Dreadnought. Don't worry, I'm on your side. There's an entrance to the sewers up ahead. Oh, it's a back way leading to the Dreadnought. Be careful. I was like, someone gonna say something about blowhard? If they see us talking, they may start to get suspicious, so I'm out of here. Good luck. No, I had more keywords and things to throw and ask. Oh, I found it. Alright, let me save. Can I go in the well? No. Alright. So we go to the sewers. do sewery things. Yeah. Oh. This is an intense sewer. You need to name your firstborn son Bath's God. Magic? I didn't mean to auto battle. Oh no, I did. Never mind. See, sewery things are more D&D tropes. There's always sewers in almost every RPG. Them's the rules. Alright, let's look at the map. Treasure. Dead ends. Treasure. Hydrate? Okay. Sorry, I'm a little flummy. It'll clear. Thank you for the hydrate. This kind of name you transition to get away from? Look. It's a name. You need to have sewers that you dive through? Yes. Oh, a longsword. There's always sewers. What else is there always in RPGs, generally? I feel like there's always like some snowy area. Cave? I feel like cave is a given. You know, how are you gonna explore if you don't have caves? Even Yakuza has a sewer section? It's in the bylaws. I'm like frantically going through the RPGs I've played and been like, okay, is there a sewer level in each of them? Hey dragons, how you doing? What's up? Oh, I love you too. What's up? Have you gotten sleep? Yeah, you're not evil. It's okay. Sewer's the bootleg water level? Well, I feel like platformers tend to have some type of water ice level, you know? Okay, is everyone doing good here? Well, Dragons is precious. Dragons is a good person who wants to be evil. You get leg eater? Alright. Longbow? Why are you giving me stuff I already have, game? Huh? It's a very specific it is a very specific monster. Good point. So these balloons are like the grenades in Final Fantasy. They blow up. Spooky evil? You can be spooky evil. I believe a dragon can be any alignment they want if they try it enough. Okay. But I don't want dragons to be evil. I like them not evil. Alright. Is it cheating to look at maps? Yup. Am I gonna do it? Yup. Alright. Oh, secrets, eh? Oh no, it's okay. It's the perks of being a streamer. You get my unfiltered thoughts and opinions at all times. I know. Look, I say looking at the map is warranted because of the extreme encounter rate. And if I miss battles from it, and therefore levels, I can just grind a little bit later. Yeah, beat them up. Oh my gosh, fists are great. Anyway, how you doing, dragons? Have you gotten any sleep? Are you eating healthy, finally? bedhead. That's new. You got sleep? Okay. What did I say? I keep stressing to you guys that sleep is insanely important and you don't realize how much, about 98% of you need good sleep to be happy and function as a human. 755. Yeah, I have a lot of quotes. I've been streaming for 5 years and basically started the quote thing when I started streaming. You do exclamation point quote list if you want to see a link to all the quotes. Exclamation point quote if you want a random quote. If you have a specific quote you want to pull up, it's exclamation point quote space the number. And if you want to just pull up like a keyword, you do exclamation point quote space whatever the keyword you're looking for. So like if you want to see if I have a quote about butts, you do exclamation point quote space butts. And if nothing has butts in it, then the last quote that was put in will come up. There you go. I hope that makes sense. Yes, we had a lot of quotes. I did have to purge them, and that was years ago, by the way. So. So if you do... Oh yeah, OJ did it. And there is a little bit of a cooldown between each like command, so if it doesn't come up, just do it again. You're too late. The dreadnought is complete. I've been working behind the scenes to see the project through to completion. End your resistance. Kneel before your emperor. It is the only alternative left to you. Consider what I've said. When the time comes, we will meet again. Bitch. Oh. Hehehe. Looks like you came all this way for nothing. See for yourselves. Blah, blah, blah. Now I wanted to go in the door. Oh shit, that is a dreadnought. What? Oh my god, that's so rude! Wow! They're just shitting bombs on all the towns. Skanks. Oh man, jeez. Sorry guys, I was too slow. I was trying to tell chat how to pull up quotes. Don't be mad at me. I would have stopped the dreadnought. Born VTuber assigned cringe at birth. Who, me? I'm not cringy. Am I? Well, if I am, I don't really care, so. Anyway, that's how you do quote stuff. Quotes are more important than bombs. He caused a war crime, let's go. No, I'm trying to save these people. What's in here? Also, just a kiss. Ooh. You found a pass in the chest. I was like, do you think there's monsters in this room? Wait, did I make Minmu a monk too? Oh. Oops. Oh, well, whatever. You're probably the least cringe VTuber you've seen so far? Yeah, because it's just me, but I don't feel like showing my face right now, so you just get cute little Oni demon girl. That's about it. Thanks. Like I said, right now my hair looks insane. It's kind of fun. Leave? Yes. Okay, that's nice. Alright, I have to use the bathroom real quick. I drank too much water, so, just give me a minute. Sorry. Place isn't hella parasocial like every other VTuber chat. Yeah, it's... like, the parasocial thing is fine. Oops. Yeah, move my shit. If you're a smart, competent, well individual, like, it's totally fine to, like, really like a YouTuber, VTuber, whatever, you know. But it's like the crazy people that's kind of scary. And it's also, I don't know, sometimes it's a little weird when you know they're putting on an act and they're not good at it. I think that's when it bothers me. I'm like, oh, you need to work on that a little. So I just skip all that by being myself, and, yeah, that's about it. Hi, Q, how you doing? I just lost my soul? Yeah, sorry. There we go. But if you're into that kind of stuff, that's perfectly fine. There ain't no thing wrong with that. Where am I going? It's in the drive to gain money, building a parasocial bond purely to drain wallets for validation. Yes. Actually, that's what does bother me. I prefer sincerity and just... not that. Not doing great, but recovering. You made mistakes that led to terrible reflux. Your voice is struggling today, but you suffer from reflux too? What did you do? Did you eat chocolate and drink coffee and then have, like, pasta? And then drank a gallon of lemonade? And then... I'm listing all the things I'm not supposed to have. Drank some chai? What else are you not supposed to do? Oh, drinking? Just lots of alcohol? Did you just drink a whole bunch? It's just very specific. Oh, yeah, it's my day. I had half a chai today and I was like, well, shouldn't have done that. I'm going down because I'm curious. I'm down on the map. Going south on the map because I'm curious. Fast food plus chocolate plus coffee plus alcohol goes bad. Yes, yep. Well, I hope you recover. I'm sorry, you know. I hope you enjoyed your sinning. It is a great day. It's just the after effect is terrible. Alright, I'm going this way because I am curious and I want to know what's over here. And nothing's killing me yet, knock on wood. So anyway, I hope your throat recovers. You gotta be good now for a few days so you don't get a chronic, like, cough like me. Consequences are made to be suffered. Long live the Chad life. I don't want to cough. I want a beautiful, happy voice with no coughing. I'm probably supposed to go here after going back to town, but I'm just gonna do this now. Old age, F you! This happened, like, before old age. How does Jack Frost get to work? By icicle. Oh. There is Banya. There's a user, a viewer comes in, it's Jack Frost and Cola, so I was like, I don't know how Jack gets to work. I'm assuming like most people. You know, by car. That's what took me a minute. Sorry. It's okay. You can pun. It hurts a little, but you can do it. I know this game. I know it's going to be like, hey, you found the thing. You can't do the thing. Go back to where you're supposed to, idiot. Okay, so that must have been Venom. Oh, Jesus. Sorry, we had to... You haven't been banned. You spent a whole stream saying bite his dick off. Nothing. Oh, I'm pro biting penises off, so... I don't remember when you said that. I was just like, yeah, sure. Whatever. Meh. This guy gonna... Are these... Oh, whoa. Are we in scary big boy territory? I can't believe you quoted that. You know what? Shell. Magic. Defense. Let's level that up. Let's, Can I more shell? Yeah, Adamantoise scares me. That's why I'm a little alarmed. Did I cast shell by accident? Oh, whatever. Come on. Okay, okay. Super Seducer? There's a Super Seducer 3. I don't know if it can be streamed on Twitch. It was bad enough that it can't be sold on Steam. 3 dozen times. Oh my god. It came out a year or two ago? Is Minru the only one that can do this? Come on, Minru. You bitch. Don't die. Sorry, pressing the wrong button. Yes. Ooh, who's fleeing? Yeah, run away. I'm gonna beat you up. They just joined the union. I guess I'll level up my cures a bit. There's no harm in that, right? I want to see how long it takes to just beat one. Isn't 15? Oh shit. Hey Ravana, how you doing? Okay. Okay, okay. I kind of want to win this because I think I'm leveling stuff up. I do have a revive. No. And 12 is easier? Ho-ho! Ho-ho! Yeah, so the way you get, the way you quote-unquote level up in this game, you don't have set levels. You level your skills. So the more I use my sword, the stronger my sword gets. The more I use my shield, the better my defense gets. The more damage I take, the higher my hit points get. It's random as to what will level up, but like, there's a chance, you know, I get some good skill level ups, I guess. You're doing great? Not quite unhappy? Okay. You don't like 12? What's wrong with 12? Yeah, kind of Oblivion's. Yes, yes. Except, it's not a guarantee that everything that you could get skills up on, you're going to get skills up on in every battle. Except for things like magic. The more I cast Cure, like so... Hold on. I have Cure 1 with him, and he has Cure 2, and the more I use Cure, the more it actually just levels up. Am I sick? No, I just have a cough from acid reflux. Sorry. I'm hoping maybe I'll, kill Turtle Man? Yeah? I'm never gonna win this battle, am I? Yeah, well, you know, just curious. If I found out you want to buy a fancy watch so now they're being annoying, that's what they're supposed to do. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, this battle's... I'm not getting my ass beat. I'm just not beating his ass yet. And I can't do damage with the other two. Good. Well then I'm gonna beat him up and then I will Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Can I defend? That's you, Zave. You're the girl on the floor. I'm Minwoo and I'm trying to save your life. And this is what I get. Yes, that was spoiler territory. I'm not mad or anything. And I appreciate OJ, was it you? Yeah, deleting the message. Thank you, thank you. No, you don't have to apologize. We're all good. Defend? Attack? Trying to hit the delete button. Sorry, you made me snort. I am going to do this. Sorry guys, we're in this battle forever now. Why 7? Why did you hit for 7? She's leveling her play dead skull. Yes. Alright. Wait, why hit for nothing now? Hold on. Did I wear out Minwoo's fists? Attack. There. 6. Wait, we were hitting for... Sorry. It's alright, I'm about to die because I'm gonna run out of magic points. For punching his shell all day? Look, he hit for 40 there. Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. Come on, guys. Come on. Oh, man. I just want the satisfaction of at least killing one. Yes! How's, the Metal Slime in Dragon Quest? The Metal Slime's tough, right? I don't know anything really about the Metal Slime. Sorry. You can tell me. Well, now I feel bad that I'm punching the turtle in the spine. Okay. Come on. Alright. I'm running away. Oh, I'm leaving! Let me leave. Goodbye. Good day, sirs. Thank you. I'm getting out of here. Is it lose with honor? No, get... That is true. I did leave you. I'm coming back. Don't worry, I'm gonna go back to town. And I'm gonna revive you. You'll be fine, I promise. I don't know why you are now Maria, Zave, but that's you. That's your characters. Whatever happens to her, it's you. I don't know if anyone wants to claim any of the other characters. Feel free. Yeah, Zave's hot at least. You claim the spear guy? So you're Guy? Alright. So, Discord Andreas, you can be Guy. Zave is Maria. Yes, literally Guy. Ooh, Sasquatches. Alright. You claim the piece of grass you stepped on. Okay, so Natsuvega is Earth. They are planet grass. Gotcha. Okay, okay. Okay, Skippy is the Earth. Alright. You guys are really good at this. Natsu's your cousin? Okay. See? I'm glad you're all getting along. Now I will heal you, Zave. If there's a... we have to find the sexy lady statue. There we go. Please. Come back from the dead, Zave. Thank you. Hey! There we go. Alright. I'm gonna promptly forget what everybody claimed, so feel free to remind me if it matters to you. There we go. Only if- okay, so you're only there if Zave is dead. Or napping. Gotcha. Items? We're good. You're filler. If you're the filler character, then you're Minwoo. Alright, so we don't go down, we go up. I probably should say all the towns that the Dreadnought bombed. Your reflux have reached your brain. I know that feeling. I have reflux in my brain too. You gotta have Zaze back when they need me? Aw, perfect. Alright. I did all that curing and I'm still only level 1. Did not count because I ran away. This feels like bullshit. Yeah, because I cast... Alright, well, whatever. Must be nice. Only when it's working. 10% of the time. Okay. So this town got blown up. Let's see if it's the same. Oh gosh, alright. You work on reflex? Oh. Oh. There's like a, what's the word for it? I don't remember the word for it. There's darkness around the screen on the outside. Yeah, there's also destruction. Vignette? Vignette? I don't know. Barely functioning brains aren't nice, they're all maintenance and little to no benefit. Hear ye, hear ye. I agree. Vignette. Yes, it's got vignette. We were attacked by the Dreadnought. They're dead. They're all dead. May I raid their corpses? No. Is everybody dead? This is the town of barrels. If you go past the barrels, you leave the town. Okay, yeah, everybody's dead. That's brutal. Oh, is Sid alive? Hold on. Make sure this is okay. Oh no, everybody is dead. Except these, like, 4 people. Hey Marish, how you doing? This is where you live when Save's alive. What you want to do is blow up the thing's engine. Do that and you can bring down the whole overgrown tub. Sorry, I gotta shove everything at him just in case. Okay, we're good. Okay, so... Because everyone in this town's a barrel of fun, and they're all... dead. Did, Northtown get blown up? Let's check them out real quick. I fear the day, like, a speedrunner of this game would come in and be like, oh my god, you can beat this game in, like, 20 minutes, what are you doing? I'd be like, I'm exploring, woohoo! You poor thing, you're getting banned at your puns. That's okay. Alright. Let's see. So this is Salamand, the snow town, and everything is fine here, so we leave. Okay, so now we go, fight 1,000,000 bees. You haven't even brought your pun notebook out. Oh god. That sounds horrible. Alright, so this is poison or this is venom? Venom. Why is your health so low? Because you're a woman. I don't know. So, the game started, sorry. This was how it was set up. Maria was in the back and she had a bow. And you get more hit points by getting hit. So I'm trying to have her get beat up. She had a lot less hit points before. I'm not sure how else to get her hit points up, but that's all I know. I guess I could beat her up. My party members could beat her up. Excuse me. But you're very strong. I mean, this game was made in like 1989, of course, because he saves a woman. That's why I like to take all the woman characters, if I have a choice, and just make them really beefy. Just silly and beefy. Here. Never mind, I killed everybody. She freaking died and came back. Where are the hit points? Actually, I don't know if she got hit points from that. And I meant to play this a little bit off stream to kind of test a few things, see how certain stats went up and whatnot, but I completely didn't do that. This way? Is this the ocean? Yes, it is. This. So what we'll do is we attack her. Attack yourself. How's that work? Oh my god, she's gonna die. I killed you, Zabos. You're too strong! Okay, I'm sorry. I'm in this scene. Okay, hold on. This is what you get for mouthing off, Zave. I kill you. Alright, I'll fix you. Hold on. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Hold on, I'm curious. I'm gonna I'm gonna revive you, and then I'm going to make you hit yourself, and then I will see what happens, alright? Sorry, mates. The ship's left for Puffed. Is everyone dead in here too? I'm hurt. Hurt bad. I don't think I'm gonna make it. Hold on. Where is the sexy statue? My daughter. They killed my daughter. The dreadnought attacked and destroyed the entire town. Hold up. Where's the... What? Sorry. Oh, I can't... I don't... There's no sexy statue. I can't revive you, Zave. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to be dead for a bit. That's okay. How's everyone else's hit points? I'll just drag you along. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Don't worry. Oh God. Oh. One second. Oh. Your job's okay, Marsh? I'm working on it. I'm working on it. All right. It's okay, Zave. We go this way. I'll take you back to town. I mean, I could figure this out with another character, but it's the principal now. Okay, alright. Let's... Okay, oh, this town got... Is everybody dead here too? Shit. Where the... Oh, it's up here. Okay. Yes. Sorry. Sorry, Lady Zave. You're better now. I'll take a nap. No, sorry. Just... If you use her as a sword, it's a win-win. That's horrifying. You have enough points to the void twice. If you guys ever have any more channel point suggestions, feel free to let me know. Alright, we're gonna save. Alright, we're doing a fight. Save, your hit points are 198. Attack 1. You're gonna attack yourself. You're really strong, so don't die. Alright, so your skills didn't go up. See, your hit points went up. Because you beat yourself up. Look, I'll beat you up a little bit. Alright, we'll do this for like a few minutes. You're entirely way too strong, so... Yeah, I was afraid you were gonna crit yourself and then die. The crowd control stream happened. That was the whole point of the crowd control stream. Was for you guys to use up your points. Kill Maria? No. No. Alright. See? Oh, it does work. I can use Cure out of battle. That just went up a level. You need 1k. I can't get you to 1k health in like 2 minutes. I'll cure you. How's that? Oh my god. Oh my god. It's not a fake friend. I'm trying to help Save improve. Okay, see? And you get 2 more appearances and you get paid more than extra rates? Okay. I will not forget. Alright, we'll do it like two more times. We'll get your hit points kinda even. There. Cure 7. Oh, wowie. No. What the? Okay, alright, we're getting there. What, the quote? The song always wants me to break out and have a seizure, like, but in a fun way. I don't remember what song that was. Alright. Do. You attack. You attack. You attack. Cure. Why are you fast? Stop it. You think, I want to see if I can get more hit points if, like, I heal and then I take more damage. We will see. I can be spiteful. I try not to be. Furion, that was pathetic. Oh, I'm defending. Does that matter? Alright. Why we banned that? Natsu's not banned. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Or at least it doesn't seem to matter. Alright. One more and then we continue on with whatever we have to do. You like the puns and you hate the puns? That's kind of how I feel about puns. I like them and I hate them. There we go. You have been appropriately buffed, Save. And you just stream directly to your brain so you can get more sleep but also keep watching. Just go to sleep and keep me on as background. That's the closest you can get. You'll have appropriately weird dreams. Yeah. No problem, Save. Do people say anything different? The Dreadnought attacked, but at least our hideout is still safe. Everybody who was outside is dead. If we don't destroy the Dreadnought, the casualties will only mount. We'll stay here and hold out until you return. Please, Lord, save our king. I'm scared. Oh, Gordon, that was the other name. Prince Gordon's disappeared. I wonder where he could have gone. You should open your eyes to see what is happening with the wild conversations you are having. Just go, close your eyes, and don't worry about the weird conversations. Altair wasn't spared the Dreadnought's assault. Luckily for us, the hideout was unharmed. The townspeople have taken refuge here. Alright, this was... Oh yeah, King, right? So we've lost Scott as well. He had proposed to Hilda, you know. Now he'll never hear her answer. I always thought he'd make a fine husband for her. How do you feel about this? Our crest has been trampled underfoot by the Imperial army. To think we could be so easily defeated. What's this? Borgin betrayed us? Then we did not fall to the sword, but to the corrupt hearts of men. Oh, I didn't know Borgin was on our side. I want to write this shit down so I remember. Oh, where's my pen? Alright. So this was... Alright. Borgin was good, then betray. He poo-poo head. Okay. How do you feel about Mithril? We believe Mithril was in common use once long ago. Some surviving records indicate Mithril was mined in the north, near Summit Falls. What? The Empire would dare build such a weapon? This is the first I've heard of such a thing. So that's the way of it. They didn't tell me for fear of worrying for me. Okay. No, we leave now. Goodbye. What's down here? A second secret bed. If you learn anything from Mags, is to slightly refuse to sleep when people tell me to sleep, even though you need sleep. I do try to sleep. It just doesn't work. Many were wounded in the Dreadnought's attack. The shock has even caused my father's condition to take a turn for the worse. I hate that my father has to see this. He knows his death is near. Is there nothing you can do, Minwu? All those who live must someday die. It is our fate. Still, it is my duty as a white wizard to ease the pain of those who suffer. I shall remain here and devote myself to the care of the wounded. I take my leave of you. The fate of the world rests on you, Firion. Waste no time in destroying the Dreadnought. Okie doke. Bye, Minwu. Oh, no all-nighters. Sleep. My father's condition has improved a great deal thanks to Minwu. Many lives are taken in the Dreadnought's attack. How are we supposed to fight something so terrible? Now what? After all that, they finished the Dreadnought anyway. Incidentally, I believe the king had something to tell you. Oh, okay. Alright. Hello. The king's illness goes far beyond the physical. There's little I can do. The Dreadnought is a massive airship. It is likely they both function on the same principle. Just making sure. So many perished in the Dreadnought's attack. Perhaps it would be best if we surrender to the Empire. You don't know. What am I? Learn? I've spoken to you. Hello? Okay. Streamers aren't real. You're not real people. Get out of here. I'm real people. Usually. I don't know why they look like pimps. Why do I have a pass? Alright, okay. So I need to beat up Dreadnought. I have a pass for something? Oh, it's a pass to get on the Dreadnought. That's right. Get on the Dreadnought. Gotta go have a nice rest of your days. What do you call a sketchy looking fish? Suspicious. That was so bad, I actually like that one. That's a big guy. You have a good day or good night. Thank you for hanging out. There should be a Zave death counter. I don't know. If Zave dies more, I'll consider it. Meow, meow. Did the anime gremlin say she's real people? Yes she did. She indeedly did. Alright, I need to go find where the Dreadnought. We're at 3? Are we at 3? No, we're at 2. You died. I revived you. And I killed you by accident. As friends do. Is it back at Bath's? I don't want to wander. Give me a minute. I bookmarked a walkthrough just in case. Got packed for a flight on Saturday, run some errands. Oh, you have a good flight? You have a good... Oh, you have a good night. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it, Skippy. You take it easy. Alright. We got Mithril, Bask in the cave. Oh. Oh, I missed a keyword. Okay. My bad. Alright. I go back to Sid. No edits, we stay pure. Sid is up in this way. This is ocean, yes. That's fine. This is getting me, not a lot, but some money. See, now that I'm not talking about anything, you can go take a nap. I just gotta run back and forth a few times. I have chocolate. I have 3 pieces. I'm going to be naughty. Oh. Yeah, but I'm not doing anything interesting. By the time you wake up, something interesting might happen. It's naughty. It's so good. Oh, nummy nummy. It was half a chai. I didn't have coffee today. Or yesterday. That's why I had a headache. Alright. Yes. Stream's not gonna be over. Brownie or an ice cream form? Oh my god. Give me a fudgy, like, warm brownie with a scoop of really good vanilla ice cream on top. Oh, that's heaven. Oh my, it's so good. Marsh. Sorry. Hey Jumper, how you doing? I'm doing good. Just playing some Final Fantasy 2. I have chocolate in my mouth, so sorry. Learn. I forgot learn. Dumbass. You ate spaghetti with French bread? Sounds delicious. Sorry, you're lactose intolerant. Airships are powered by sunfire. I'm sure the Dreadnought's no different. Controlling Sunfire is a tricky business. Let the flames get too high, and you got a runaway on your hands. The engine will blow sky high. Okay. I have done it. Now I have to go all the way back to town. Oh, actually, you know what? Do I spend 700 to fly back? No, that's too expensive. Chocolate Zelmy? Chocolate is so good. Yeah, learn to be not lactose intolerant. Somehow. They ran away from me. Okay. So now we go back. No, I don't want to be on an airship when it explodes either. But I'm supposed to destroy the dreadnought. It's evil and it keeps bombing towns. And that's not cool. Nom nom nom. What's everyone's favorite chocolate? Right now I'm eating, it's called milk chocolate, but it's not really milk chocolate. It's like middle chocolate. There's a little milk, it's a little dark, and it's it's called Endangered Species. It's kind of expensive, but it's delicious. Terrorism's not cool. Unless you're playing Final Fantasy VII. Then it's fine. Back from Ghirardelli, Hershey Kisses. I am. It's chill. Sorry, I kind of like how the leveling system works. The battles are pretty mindless right now, so it means I can pay attention to you guys better. Enjoy my, yeah, oh shit. Save files for everybody. Do some nice rambling, then do some plot, you know. To me, that's relaxing. Because if I wasn't streaming this and I was playing it, you know, I just kind of zone out for the auto battles. You saw Brand once in an old clip. I think you were visiting Crow and he surprised you with a bar and you left. Oh yeah, I was really excited. That was the chocolate. Exactly what I was talking about. Because it's so good. Alright, let's go talk to the... So, it's not a queen. She's kind of a queen. But her father, the king, is dying. Would she choose cyanotype? I don't know, Save. Huh, you see, it happened just as I said it would. Obviously, the task was more than you could handle. Oh yeah, do that. That'd be fun. Alright. I would like to ask you about Sunfire. Sunfire is the crest of the kingdom of Kashuan. Its flame still burns on the ground floor of the Kashuan Keep. Scott and Gordon have told me many stories concerning the flame. The finer points of the tale are not known to me. However, I seem to recall that the flame cannot be held in just any torch. Sid told us that we might be able to use Sunfire to destroy the Dreadnought. Then there's no time to waste. You must depart for Kashuan Keep at once. If you hire Sid's air- I gotta go back there again? What the fuck? Sorry. If you hire Sid's airship, the journey should not take long. That leaves you only one question. What can you use to bring the Sunfire back? Can't remember the game I was playing when you found me? 6 or 5? It was a while ago. I don't remember. Why would you want to live in a building with a flaming floor? Because it's special, I guess. I'm pretty sure that this game is just get keywords, go back. Ask about keyword, get more information, do the thing. Alright, let's go find Sid and fly to Cashew Keep. Flaming cashews. That's okay, the walk's not that far. You can't pen Final Fantasy 2. Look, you have my full attention as I do the walking of back and forth. Feel free to speak and say all the things you wish to say. I played Final Fantasy 14 once, and that was like in 2019. Yeah. It was probably Final Fantasy 6. It was 2021. There's a good chance it's Chrono Trigger. Yes. Oh, Zave, are you turning into a robot? So the thing is I have all my streams backed up as VODs. So you could really, if you really wanted to, you could find this, whatever I streamed on the, whatever day you joined. It was 22nd of December. It was a year ago. Crap. Alright, let's go. We go to Kashuan. Yes. Kashuan. Yeah, if you guys ever want to know how long you've been following someone, one, you can click your username and it'll say when you started following. But you can also do, at least in my chat, follow age, and I'll show you. It was Chrono Trigger? Yeah. Sounds about right. Oh, this is... wait. Oh, see? This is where I was trying to go. I could have walked here. God damn it. This whole game is like, yeah, you could have walked to it. Well, maybe. This is where the scary turtles are. I'm saving again. Oh, I need to find something to hold the flame in. Well... okay, I could talk to the fire? Oh, it's also how to use items. No, not the scary turtles that made you pass out? Hold on, I wasn't paying attention. Oh. Yeah, okay, no. I am so good at this game and paying attention. totally did absolutely the right thing. Oh shit! How do I... Hey, I can do that.
In before Mags completes the whole game and just goes, oh, that's the end? I could have just walked to it.
Thank you for the 500 biddies. I feel like it's a theme. It's definitely a theme in this game. But it's okay. Hey, thank you. So, I'm not supposed to be here yet. I forgot to talk to the king. So I gotta walk back. Sorry. I just got really excited and I knew exactly where I was supposed to go. I forgot I have to figure out how to hold the fire. Where am I? How do I get out of here? Where are the chocobos? Anyway, how you guys doing? Oh my god. Chrono Trigger, and then I played 6 afterwards. That makes sense. Absolutely. What's special about the fire? Why can't I make one? So this is called Sunfire, and it's special. And it can't be like picked up or used by a normal torch. I need something for it. Which is the part I forgot to figure out. And so airships run on Sunfire, and if you put too much Sunfire in there or something, it can blow up your airship. And we want to blow up the Dreadnought. So that's why we're trying to get Sunfire to basically blow up the Dreadnought. Hey Jack, what's up? No, it's not mods only, chat. Awesome. I'm glad you guys are so welcoming. Anyway, so the Sunfire is supposed to blow up the Dreadnought. Save. Everything about this is terrible. Oh my god. Someone made a Jack Frost pun. It was like, how does Jack Frost get to work? By icicle. And it took me a minute after reading it. I was like, I don't know how Jack gets to work. I'm assuming a car like everyone else. But then I understood it. Yes, it hopefully blows up the Dreadnought. Meow, 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 meow. That's true, Zave did pun. Okay, so I just have to walk. God damn. This is what happens when I get too gung-ho and excited about stuff. Leonidas would be heartbroken. Okay. Shut up, Jack. I swear to God. Jeez. Okay. Get torch. How much money do I have? And do I want to fly back? Yes. Oh, I need money. God damn it. That took your brain to realize what he was saying. Yeah, I was like... It's like, what a dumbass. He doesn't know what gung-ho means. Oh, I get it. Never mind. You're like, when did she say gung and what's the reference here? I was talking about how I'm very gung-ho about going to that one town because I figured out where I was going. Have you ever tried Tams? No. I think you've asked me this before. I have not. Are those the, like, straw-shaped, cylindrical cookie things? Is that something totally different? No? Okay. I have no idea then. Okay, I'm back to town. Hello. Wafer cookies? I don't know. They are rectangular. They are chocolate biscuits, which means cookies. Okay, they're chocolate cookies with 2 layers of cookie with chocolate cream in between, and the whole thing is dipped in chocolate. Now that sounds amazing. I've never had that. What the hell was I thinking of? Nope. That sounds delicious. Gimme. They're a national treasure? Are they like the Australian cookie? Okay. Yes, of course. I'm back. I just needed to run to the town that you were talking about and then leave. Every 3 years, they celebrate a Festival of the Flame in Kashuan. During the festival, the Sunfires move to I thought that said E-Girls. I was like, E-Girls Torch, okay. To Eagle's Torch, while its brazier is cleansed. Okay. I'm just making sure. So many perished in the Dreadnought's attack. Perhaps it would be best if you stopped being a bitch and helped. Jeez. Oh shit, I went to allow. Hi, Cyborg Pride! Are Tim Tams the thing where you bite off each end and sip coffee through it? That's what I was trying to describe! Thank you! That's what I was trying to describe! This... Okay. See? I knew what I was talking about. Thank you. No. Alright. I gotta figure this out. Give me a minute. Scott sealed the gates of Kashuan to keep... Oh, sorry. Scott sealed the gates of Kashuan Keep to protect the Sunfire in the event they were defeated in battle. You will need the goddess's bell to break the seal. Alright, so when it's red, it means I can learn. The whereabouts of the bell are known only to the Kashuan royal family. Alright, let me write this down. Goddess bell for Sunfire royal cashew fam knows. Okay. So now you're completely half e-girl, half thought? No. You. What am I gonna need? I just like VTubing. It's fun. It's cute. I don't have to get dressed or put makeup on. And actually my hair looks like I was telling people earlier today, super insane. Like, crazy. Yeah, you watch out. My comebacks are legendary. Before I was on, a friend of yours beat Crisis Core. No spoilers, thank you. Yeah, I debated you, sorry. Alright. I'm gonna talk to you again, make sure. Yep. I learned Goddess Spell. Oh, I actually can't press any other buttons. Okay. I don't know. When am I starting my chibi only TAMs? Never. I can't actually monetize this outside of Twitch because this is not my this was like pay to use VTuber model. I'm trying to be good about it. You don't do spoilers? Good, thank you. Show Jack the bit. No! No! Can I ask about the okay, the Goddess Bell. Gordon would know where the bell is kept, but I have not seen him lately. Someone close to Scott or Gordon may know where to find it. Who the fuck is Scott or Gordon? Oh, thank you for the 20 biddies. Thank you. Oh, you're talking about those biddies. Okay, hold on. You guys make it really, really tough to pay attention to what I'm doing. Give me a second. We need an e-girl's torch. Someone close to Scott or Gordon. Alright. Do I have the biddies? Where are boobs? I don't even remember what I labeled them as. I have boba. Xmas elf breasts. That's right. Is this correct? There you go, that's all you need, right? Some boobs on my face? There you go. Hi Dark Shadow Rage, how you doing? Sorry. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Yes. Don't mind the floating boobs. I got a little something on my face. Yeah. See, they're supposed to kind of attach like this. But, you know, they were free, okay? Hold on, let me attach them to my head properly. There you go. Hey. Okay, we're gonna get rid of the boobs. Alright, so let's, I'm so distracted. I'm gonna just see where I go next because I'm afraid I'm gonna just... Okay, so I learned about the Goddess Spell. Okay, go to talk to a lady about Goddess Spell. So this game's a lot about literally back and forth, just in this area. Oh yeah, that's kind of also why I don't put them on my chibi model, because I don't even want to go there. But I saw big free boobies and I thought it was hilarious, so I did grab them. Alright, ask about Goddess Bell. I've heard Scott and Gordon mention the bell. The gates of Kashuan keep open only to the voice of a Kashuan or the ringing of that bell. The bell rests deep within a cavern on the snow plains. It will not be easy to retrieve. So it is your intention to enter the snow cavern? Very well. If only Gordon were here, there would be no need for you to risk such danger. But he isn't, so you must. There's nothing I can do but pray for your success. Joseph knows the snow plains like the back of his hand. You should seek his counsel. Put them on the slide. I could do that. I grabbed the boobies. I have 2 sets of boobies. Alright. So, let's go back to this side. I need to find a dude named Joseph for Belle. And Snow. Okay. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Okay, I don't know where Joseph is. I swear to God. Okay. Oh, Joseph is in Salamand. Okay. Let's go to Salamand. Do I need to heal? No. That's where Joseph is. Joseph be trippin'. I swear to God, you guys are... You pain me sometimes. So that is the snow town over here. If you have 2 people named Jose, one of them gets called Jose A and the other is Jose B, and it's already old to you. What? Up. It'll be one of those things where after stream I'm like, oh! Oops, I should have gotten that. Nightbot really wants to like show that quote off a lot. I'm not sure why. It's a pronunciation thing. Oh yeah, no, me no pronunciate stuff. Okay. Yeah, Jose and Hospi. That's stupid. I hate it. You're all banned. Now we gotta find Joseph with an F. Alright, hold on, let me look at the magic. Life Tome. Okay, yep, you're not banned, you didn't take part. Congrats. I know you're trying to explain. Yeah, I figured you'd get a Lock's your name. It's stupid though. I didn't know my dude had life. Well, shit. Everybody gets life. How much does life cost, though? 1. Wow, life's really cheap. Okay. So let's find Joseph. You've been surprisingly well behaved with all these puns floating around in chat. You normally can't resist making puns once you see them. You're recovering. Your acid reflux has beaten you down. You must conserve your strength, young one. I love Joseph, but I know that if I'm around, I would just get in his way. Oh, he's in here. You need to ban Jack from Snapchat. He sends you a lot of snaps of him in the restroom because he finds the fanciest ones and is drunk and amazed by them. Is this for real? Is this a thing? Do men do this? Is this what Snapchat's used for now? What? I thought you just sent nudes with Snapchat. Oh my god. You're younger than me and therefore I get to say it. I like it. It's good that you have someone you can send your favorite urinal pictures to. It looks like you managed to save my daughter. Thank you. That cowardly Morgan had been threatening Nellie. Oh. To get to me. Forgive me. If there's anything I can do to help, all you gotta do is ask. Oh no, I know there's no peen. I mean, I didn't know. I assumed there was no peen. Got a spell? The only way to reach the snow cavern is on my snowcraft. I keep the snowcraft hidden in the mine. There's a blue stone on the first floor that marks the spot. Look behind the stone and to the right. The secret room's there, and the snowcraft is inside. I'm sorry I couldn't help you find the mithril. So I want to make up for that by pitching in now. What are we waiting for? Let's go. Wait, oh. He joined me, okay. One-sided relationship, poor Jack. Oh, wow, Joseph's manly. He's not as old as I thought he was. I'm sorry, Joseph, I gave you an old man voice. Oh, you're a monk too! Monks for everybody. Dude, air. Oh, yeah, that's enough phone for tonight. I'm going to bed. Oh, you good? Okay, so now we gotta go to Summit Falls. Everyone's good here? Yeah. Joseph joined us. Jose through E. We're busy. I hate it. Yeah, we'll go this way. Alright, we got the snowmobile. Bring it. I'm gonna hope that when I get the snowmobile, I'll know what to do. The only thing I ever used Snapchat for was when they had the filters, and I put like an anime manga samurai face over my face, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And that was it. I was like, Snapchat's stupid, and I deleted it. Received drunken Snapchats from some upside down guy. Okay. So this is where the fall was. There is no fighting in the river. Yeah, if you send me pictures of your poop, I'm probably never gonna talk to you again. After 5 years. I literally had it because I just thought the filters were funny, so. Alright, so it's this way. Sometimes I walk without running because it feels like the encounter rate isn't as high then. Did you just... Joseph turns a small rock jutting out of the wall, and a passage appears. A snowcraft is in here. I thought he punched the wall. You retrieve the snowcraft from the chest. Okay. Just checking. This looks suspicious. It's not. You're willing to believe that he actually punched the wall. He turned the small stone with his fist. I like it. I'll go with that. The only time you use Snapchat is when you want to take drunken pictures of pretty urinals. Okay, okay. Since the dating days? Was Snapchat even around when you were dating? I'm assuming I have to go back to the snow place? Oh god, hold on. This is why I have this open. This helps guide me a little bit. Snowfield is north of Salaman. Enter the snow cavern on the east side of it. There's a snow cavern? Alright, so I'm gonna go back to Salaman because obviously I missed stuff, so we'll do that. You got bored with it? Yeah, same. Remember using it when you were like 22. I forgot how old you are. You're not 32. That's insane. Hold on, I'm having a small crisis. Yes, Snapchat was around that long. Yes. Okay. You're 43? That's fine. You're allowed to be 43. Alright. Check's your age, but I didn't know you until you're almost 30. Well, Jack has been around in one way or another for a long while now. It's like one of those things where I knew your ages when I started streaming and then never ever updated your age. So, alright, I need to find North the cavern? Little look-see over here. They were 18! They were like 18 or 19 when I first met them in Twitch chat. Wait. Now they're not in high school anymore. It's weird. I don't know. It alarms me. You don't act your age though. You act much more immaturely. Yes, you do. Very correct. You're a kid, there's no social media? Same. Is there a cavern here? I'm gonna find you. I swear to God. Yeah, social media didn't pop in until I mean, MySpace is obviously the one. I think I was already 20. Tato has hella baby face. He's still young. Tato's still, yes. Tato and dragons are, they're still babies. Which is fine. Okay, No cave here. Wait, acts like a nasty pervert, acts like a kid. A kid after? Yes. Alright, let me go to the town. Maybe there's just, you know, maybe I wasn't paying attention. See, I think my one complaint with this game is the encounter rate is so high that I am very, very unlikely to explore and look around stuff. Which is something I find fun in games. I want to look at all the things, touch it all, poke at it, find all the secrets, you know? And by look around, I'm going to look at the strategy guide walkthrough I have open for when I need it. Snowfield is north of Salamand. Enter the snow cavern on the east side of it. Of Salamand? Okay. I guess I'll go in Salamand. Do I, No, I just left. Oh, I'm gonna take a nap. This is stupid. Oh my god. You think it's Tato's childlike joy at silly things that make him so dang likable? It is. I think that's an important thing that people should have, if they can have it. You keep that childlike joy about whatever, you know? It's just really nice to see. Another traveling companion always responds with, oh, they just like loot. North, south, east. How am I missing fucking Jack? Oh my god, Marsh. He's a walking medical drama, he is. And he's so good-natured about it. I still feel bad for him, but... Alright. The snowfield is north of Salamand. Enter the snow cavern on the east side of it. Oh, maybe I can just walk to the snowfield. Hold on. I might be making this more difficult than I need to. I forgot I can do this. How the fuck do I get in the snowfield? Alright, hold on. This is bullshit. Maybe I can just like walk in the mortar? Yeah, maybe. Where's this? The game doesn't tell me shit. You didn't have time to jog this morning. You say that every day. I know it's a running joke. Oh my god. Pain. I found it! I am so good at video games. Oh my god. Be impressed. This is just a snowboat. It's snowmen. Go beat everybody up. Yeah, eat shit, snowmen. Look, I didn't hear any of you guys helping me, even though you're not supposed to. Alright. Yeah, that's what you get. I don't know why I said that, but can I get off here? No. Play obscure games. Dave, when are you going to, when are you gonna stream some Hollow Knight? By the way. I've got a bug in my brain about you playing Hollow Knight. New game. I would like to have that as background. I won't say anything, I promise. I'll even watch incognito. You won't know I'm there. Yeah, new game. I want to watch from the beginning. I think that would be nice. Good, I'm glad you're gonna consider that. Okay, we're doing alright. So... I want to see you do Nightmare King Grim. The thing that took me in total 8 hours to do. It was like 5 hours straight one day, and then freaking 3 hours straight the next day. I found it. Oh, it's an icicle. How far did you get, by the way? Snow cavern. Alright, I drank too much water again, so give me a minute. I'll be right back. Hollow Knight makes your brain hurt. You had to watch someone play that game for 2 months. You want to see the game? The game is so good. Oh my god, it's a beautiful game. God damn it, I just paid. Alright, I'll hydrate, hold on. Ah, thank you. I am very sufficiently hydrated. The soul has returned. I can make it so it gets set back to like default position, which is like this. But I kind of like it being weird. Pay again. No, I can't save. I just did it. Alright. So we gotta go. Alright, I'm trying very hard to remember this plot. So far, alright, the dreadnought got lifted off, blew up a few towns. So now we need to get the Sunfire from Kashuan. God damn it, I'll hydrate in a second. But in order to get to Kashuan and get the fire, we need the E-girl? Egil? Whatever, that holds the fire, and to do that we have to unseal something in Kashuan, and this is why we're in this cave, to get the goddess bell, because that's the bell that fixes everything, so I can do the rest of the stuff. And Sunfire will blow up the airship, because airships run on Sunfire. Okay? That's what I got. Okay, I've hydrated. Oh, Dip, thank you for the 100 biddies. I appreciate that. You guys are very kind, by the way, to stick around while I ramble around and have no idea what I'm doing. I was the almond tree on her last nerve because one of her kids earned. I swear to God. I can't. Alright, zombies? What do you... Oh, you don't do it. Oh shit, I defended. I didn't mean to do that. Attack. There it goes. Okay, so that's the plot so far. I will say some of these keywords get a little clumped up. I think the thing that bothers me the most is I just don't remember anyone's name at all. This is Joseph with an F. I don't remember who Gordon or who was it? Gordon and Gordon and somebody. Scott. I was like, the name of Cyclops. Gordon and Scott. Alright, I don't remember who these people are. I'm sure there's a chef in there somewhere. Alright, so this is easy. I'm sorry, it flew out of my head. Alright. Anyway, everyone with me on the plot so far? We all understand what's going on? Do I want to... Is that the room of leaving? Yes? Okay. Oh, I can't go in this room. Let's see. Let's say, what do you mean? Nope, I just explained the plot. What part are you not getting? Ask me questions. I will answer them for you. Can I go in here? How many, if any, have you ever played any RPG save? This is a good question. It's... because I just explained it. Look at their watch and they say, I don't know what time it is. No, but I know that has happened. No JRPGs? Okay. Is that... okay, those are going up, those are going down. So we go... oh god. All you know about the plot so far is that Furion seems to be the main character because he doesn't have a lame name like Gordon or Scott. You guys, I swear to god. Oh my god. Dual heads. Just Pokemon. Is there a plot in Pokemon besides be the very best? With your Pokebuddies? Okay. Antarctic wind. That sounds like it. Can we... thank you. A stone that summons a magical ice storm. Garlic. That's why you beat it? Okay. You literally have someone named Guy in your party between Furion and Guy. I wonder who the main character is. It's the secret fourth character that we don't have. Wait, I think... was Gordon our fourth member and he got killed? God, I don't remember. Maria? Well, you're Maria, and you have no idea what's going on. You're just there for punching and looking sexy. So, no. I'm gonna go up. This might be the right way. I'll be upset. Thank you. I've decided since... what was it? When I streamed A Link to the Past and I had absolutely no clue what was going on, I decided since then I was always going to make sure I at least had 70% idea of what the hell was going on plot-wise. Why do we eat ice cream and we get brain freeze and then we eat more ice cream? Why do we do that? What are we, stupid? Ice cream is delicious. Okay. And it's worth getting brain freeze for. Now what you gotta do is you gotta eat it slowly, savor it. Perhaps with a brownie. Other characters might as well be an extra wearing a red shirt in an episode of Star Trek. Oh, that's true. Maria's wearing a red shirt, Resto wears red shirts. Ah, but they can be from the next generation. Red shirts are okay there. That's how you've been, you're in the OG. I'll protect you. YOLO. No, not YOLO. Wait, YOLO? Oh, sorry. Oh no, we're good. Okay. Oh, sorry. No, you're still good. Look at that, Zabe. Good job. Thank you for tanking that. Mithril Mace. Oh. Eh. Well, it wasn't my fault that, you know, you hit yourself a little too hard. Okay, this was the right way because it was wrong. Which is what I'm going for. Everyone ganged up? No! No, 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 no. You're fine. Don't worry. Okay, now we go downstairs. How much money do I have? Okay, okay. Oh, it was Tato. He tried to gaslight me. And I was like, that's not gaslighting, it's just really bad lying. God damn it. We should gaslight Tato for fun. That is so evil. Yeah, he could learn a thing or two. Okay, 2 chests, a door, 2 chests. Alright, chests everywhere. All that work for a potion, huh? Look, I am sure Tato is good at more than just math. He's good at surviving. And I'm sure he's decent at teaching Blizzard Tome. Who shall learn Blizzard? Hold on to it for now. Hello? Okay, sorry, my controller was being weird. You will learn Blizzard. Sure. Yes, he's decent at playing Overwatch with one hand. It's actually pretty impressive. Same. Mithril spear, which I have. I'm sure you could play Overwatch if you wanted, Dave. It's really not that difficult. Unless you want to get, like, really good at it. What's in here? Oh, a whole bunch of nothing. Awesome. Thanks, game. With how people complain about their teams, it shouldn't be that hard at all. People love complaining about their teams. I especially like the ones where people are in like silver and they're like, I am so good at this game. My teams suck every single time. I shouldn't be in silver. And it's like, no. No, buddy, it's you. Sorry. Had him carry their cripple crew? That'd be fun. He'd never do that. Oh, there's just... Bronze is where the fun is at, though. Honestly, part of me wants to level up one of my accounts and just play in bronze, just for shits and giggles. Not to troll, because I wouldn't be very good because I can't do mouse and keyboard for a lot of stuff. Just because I think it would be silly and fun. Ooh, shadows. Hey Vito, how you doing? What's up? Every Overwatch team sucks though, that's the rule. That is. It's true. It's everyone but you. Just got your invoice for your rescued film. Are you happy? Or are you screaming? Okay. I don't know if you're screaming where you're like, oh my god, so much money! Or you were just very excited. Bronze shield. Mithril. Shield. Yes. You're here feeding your future diabetes. So much cake? Is it your birthday? At antique malls. Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, that's kind of cool. People buy the cameras, not the film inside? Okay. Alright, chest in that door. Well, if you ever buy an old camera and you see film of me in it, let me know. Yeah, in the first Final Fantasy, if I went in a room, it didn't make it a new map, so you could just kind of see what... You could go in one room and it would show what was in all the other rooms. So... You're getting another 3-day weekend? Isn't that nice? You get to relax a little bit. One's from the 80s, the other's from the 50s to the 2000s? Jeez. Ancient sword. Ooh. No, I know it's not good for your pockets, but you can still relax a bit. Oh my god, my accuracy. A sword that invokes an ancient curse. Oh, that's where they're manufactured, okay. Really old bit. That'd be pretty awesome. Alright, I'm not gonna use this because I prefer hitting more than 1 out of 3 times. And you're pissed? Well, just make best of your 3-day weekend. you have stuff to do, now you can do it. Alright, we'll go this way. Eventually. Yeah, like sleep. Sleep is stuff to do. Oh, I made... What is that? Are these, like, beavers? Are you beavers? Oh my god, they're actually beavers! I was right, what the fuck? Sorry, I did not... I was being super sarcastic when I asked if they were beavers. I was like, are these, like, hot tub beavers? Oh my god. Snooky. I legit did not know these were beavers. Snooky. Why does this guy speak like this? Guy speak beaver. Snooky. Oh my god. Okay. Secret passage in wall to right. Monster guard bell. Bell in wall. I didn't know guys spoke like a caveman. Thank you, Save. They say shit like your mom. Cheat. Cheat. Okay, right side. Right side bell. Here? Oh shit. Oh. All guy talk like caveman. Can confirm. Good. Good. You have confirmed my suspicions. Meow 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 meow. Wee. Jeez. Okay. Fists really do some decent damage. I guess if I wanted to level up my cure and stuff, I could cast it on the undead, undead enemies in here. Oh no, not one of these guys! It's gonna kick my ass! I can't fight these dudes! Silver Cures. I'll give it to you, Zave. Never mind, everybody has one, except this dude. This is so useless. Jesus Christ. There we go. Can I quick save? Yes? Don't... Okay. Hello. That's an adamant toys guarding the bell. Stay on your toes. Oh. Oh, okay. I was trying to fight two of these. Yeah. I don't know if it matters if I do this more than once, but I'm just gonna level up my protect and then see what happens. I don't know. I'm gonna do it a few more times. Just, I mean, even if it doesn't do anything good for me, it still is me using the spell, and I think therefore leveling it up slowly. Good job. Yeah, he's taking a lot less damage. Protects for everyone. Maybe I need to cast like magic on him. How do you like Blizzard? Wait, how do you like fire? How do you like fire? This is a boss, yes. Fire 3? When did I learn that? Okay, fire is good. We didn't lose, we stalemated. I'll just do this. It may take a few minutes. No. Stalemate. See? Easy. Probably should have cast magic on those other dudes, but you know. Fire leveled up, hands leveled up. Catch these hands. So you get more magic points. That probably makes sense. I probably should cast magic more often. Yup. There's something set in the wall. It's the goddess's bell. Yoink! Ah, you obtained the goddess's bell. Okay. Oh, thank you. Oh. I was obligated, thank you. Now I can just... Or... Can't I... Using hit points. I didn't know you did that with hit points. Why can't I teleport out? I just want to leave. Okay, so now we have the goddess bell. Which means I can go ring-a-ding-a-ling-ding at Cashew Palace to get the e-girl, to get the Sunfire. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Curses. You've already gotten to the goddess's bell. First you ruined my standing with the Emperor, and now this. The Emperor will never forgive me for messing this up. If I ever go back to the Empire, he'll have my head. But I'm still a soldier. If I'm going to die, you're coming with me. But I used all my magic. What the Oh, damn. Guess we're going to kill him and then eat him, as is tradition in RPGs. He's a big boy. Do you know that some... Oh, this is bad. Some channels on Twitch stream live sumo wrestling? Oh my god. Never mind. Never mind. Blech. I like that we just walked around. I'm like, ew, alright, whatever. Heh. I have lost, but don't think that you've won. I've booby-trapped this cave. Just a little parting gift from me to you. I'll be waiting for you in hell. Well, run. Damn it. Go on, get out. We not leave you. I can't hold it much longer. Run. It's up to you. Or it's up to you now, Firion, my sweet Nelly. What? Joseph. Oh my god. Oh my god. Save. I can't. We just went into this cave, we borrowed his snowmobile, we saw some hot water beavers, and then he just got run over by a boulder. I'm sorry, Joseph. And now he's just dead. Wow. The game's like, alright, whatever. Peace. Yeah, too bad Saban would have just picked the boulder up and been like, and cracked it in half and put it down nicely. I didn't realize what I was saying, Jack. Okay. No, that's what they were. Yeah, he's dead. I accidentally killed the man and I feel bad. Also, I have this on auto battle. Crap. There we go. Alright, so I need to make a list of dead characters. Joseph, Borgin, whoever that guy was. There we go. Probably the king's gonna die. Okay. I know this is a lot of grinding, or, you know, random battles. I'm actually kind of enjoying this game. It's silly and ridiculous. It's not a hit list, it's a after they were hit list. Okay. Wow. Now we go back to town. Whee. A Game of Thrones? That'd be brutal. I mean, I don't think I don't think I'm that far in the game. My spell levels are pretty low. I haven't been using magic much though, so. Crossing off names, and Maria's is on there. Am I a face? I might be a faceless man. I can change faces whenever I like, or at least body forms. Would you like a slime? Actually, I'm not gonna touch anything. I have this set the way I like it, so. Yes, more slime. Where is... It's here. Of course I'd have the eyebrows. Okay. If we save a million more times, I'm going to look... I think I know where I'm supposed to go, but I don't want to walk around a whole bunch. Okay, so yeah, I'm supposed to go to Kashwan Keep. Just making sure. I don't know, like maybe I'd have to go back to Altair for some reason to talk about the thing that I got. Joey the Slime? Alright, I could walk there or... Oh, I have money. I'm gonna fly. You cannot hurt me. Maybe a little. But Maria's aid is very strong, so... I want to know why Guy is a caveman, though. I didn't know he was a caveman. Hi-ya! This way. Maybe he's just stupid? Because guys, all guys are cavemen. Yeah, Farian doesn't talk like that. Take me to Cashew Town. Thank you. Feels weird seeing only 3 characters, so I think the main thing with this one is the 4th character slot keeps rotating out. So you keep getting new characters just for a little bit, and they keep rotating out. I haven't watched a speedrun of this, but for Final Fantasy Fiesta, like BGG will play it. I never watch it. Like, I've never watched this, except like when I pop on, and he'll always have the 4th character dead. And I didn't understand why, so I looked it up. And I was like, oh, like the 4th character slot, like just, you keep getting new different characters, so. Stealth hi bye, please eat well, be well, etc. Hi mobile, bye mobile. You be well too, okay? No. Well, be a little well. You don't have to be 100%. Give me like 70%. Okay, thank you. No, we can pass with a 70. Never got that far in the game? Let's look at the map. There's a door. A lot more doors. Chest? Okay. I can't really do anything. I'm assuming I have to get the item here, yes? Okay, this is the bell. As the clear tone of the bell rings out, the lock opens without a sound. Boop. Oh. Wait, what? Hey, it's Gordon! I came to retrieve the Sunfire. I thought I was the only one left who could open the door. I meant to look for the Eagle's torch, but it's a monster's den in here. I can't keep going on my own, and I can't return empty-handed. I don't know what to do next. You know your way around the keep, right? Do you think you could help us find our way through? I'm sorry. The keep is riddled with secrets. I wouldn't know my way around any better than you. But I do want to fight. Will you let me come with you? Yeehaw! Gordon joined the party. Oh, Gordon, what do you do? Spear. I have a spear. Okay. Gordon, are you useless? Feeble mortal. Well, since you're Maria, I gave her a very proper southern Texas accent. I don't know if you noticed. That was just for you. You're welcome. Oh, I just didn't know if you noticed. I figured, figured I'd just make sure, you know. Squid and the fisherman who makes those frozen fish. Giddy up, y'all. Texas. Alright, do we go indoor? We go indoor. Oh, hold on. Gordon, you suck. You have 2 in everything, though. If I gave you, an axe. Here we go. Meow, 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 meow. Boxes? Get them all leveled up? I doubt it. I don't trust this 4th party member slot. You know what I mean? I know that eventually you get someone permanently. I don't know where that is, and I don't think it's now. Oh my, oh. Land turtles. This room is alarming. Okay, this room's okay. I take it back. Yeah, I think he's a weak character. You felt that way about 4th members ever since Earthbound? With Poe? Yeah. I wasn't happy when he left. Jeez. We'll just make Gordon be like... You don't know magic. I don't know what Gordon can do. Starstorm? That's awesome! Oh, bye, I guess? Yeah. It's like, okay, bye. There are no chests. Nope, there's one chest. Okay. Why is everyone ambushing me? Yeah. Oh, you're back? Hey, do you want to become a robot with us? Cool, let's do it. Your puns hurt me, John Bart. Oh, I got a tome. Teaches the blind spell. Inflicts darkness when used in battle. Who would like to learn blind? You do. Okay. So I assume we have to go through this to get the thing that holds the fire. Oh, money. You still blind? Yes. Can you unblind yourself with— oh. Haha, see? Why am I being ambushed? That's what I'll choose to believe from now on. Alright, thank you. You should be able to take these guys. If they weren't typos, what if they were typo negative? That could be— oh my god. No, I'm looking at my battles now. Very interesting over here. Goodbye. Oh my god. Were rats? What are these? Spoiler alert, Furion is one of the main characters. How dare. Also, hi Gunrun, what's up? Not this way. You behave for so long. I know, it's fine. If you got a pun, guys, just get it out. I'm apparently going to be ambushed forever in these battles. And then I need to get more water and use the bathroom again, because I drank too much water. Monsters. Golden shield. Resistant to poison. Okay. There we go. Wait, Gordon, do you have— yeah. No. Aha! I shan't be defeated by you. Don't die. That's dirty. I just fought one of these as a boss. I might run away. Alright. 45. Punching. I'm gonna give you any offensive magic, so you just attack and you defend. Okay, no. No. Oh, Gordon, you're dying. I didn't even notice. This is how much I care about you, my bad. I'm gonna put you in the row. That's what I think I'll do. What should you have for dinner? Something delicious, please. He should have 3 Mexicans for— oh, enchiladas. I was like, Dave, he's not gonna eat people. That's not okay. I'll save them the whole eating people kick. Maybe he dislikes Blizzard more. Alright, let's try that. Oh, never mind, we'll never know. Cure leveled up, okay. Oh, you got all those stat increases. Oh, nice. I'm going this way. No more Adamant toys. Oh my god. Save you hit like a truck. What should I eat for dinner? Cannabism. No, cannabism's okay. Yeah, what should I eat? Suggestions. I can pop by the grocery store after stream and maybe, you know, get some happy num-nums. Right. 1 room, 2 room, 3 room, stairs, room, separate stairs and room. I should eat steak. I do have some rice. I mean, that would be kind of good. Steak and taters. What kind of taters? So this is the type of poison that makes me poisoned outside of battle. I can't... Oh, because I don't... There you go. Mashed potatoes. Could I make mashed potatoes? I could probably, yeah, I could make mashed potatoes. And really thinly slices steak cooked in a hot pot. I don't have a hot pot. Well, I could do steak and mashed potatoes. That, I think it sounds good because I'm starting to salivate already. Is this the final boss, Ganondorf? No, I didn't know that. A fatty cut? No, the cut I get is what's on sale and cheap. I actually don't even like, unless it's marbled in, I cut all the fat off. Okay, a room of nothing. I just have to check. God damn it. Should we check the rooms? Well, that's mean. I don't feel like dealing with that. The shades are cool, but then I can't hit anyone. Do you remove blind? Okay. If I walk slowly out of the room, am I okay? Okay. No! Oh, yes! I still had it on flee, perfect. Mithril axe, mithril sword, whereabouts? Oh shit! Oh Jesus! What? I don't get music to this.
Get yourself a nice cut of steak for dinner with some quality taters. Magite wholesome excitement.
Jesus Christ, OJ, you didn't have to do that. You have 3 days off. Save your money. Oh my god. Thank you. I will... Yeah, what about your enchilada money? Thank you, thank you. Oh my god. Well, I don't... What are quality taters? I just buy potatoes and then mash them. You know? I'll get some good butter, though. Yeah. I'll get some good steak. Thank you. Oh, sorry, I got all flustered and clicked off my Final Fantasy. Hey, thank you. Oh my gosh. What am I doing? I will go straight to Idaho and get some potatoes. Okay, I don't need that. Oh my god. Anyway, thank you again. You know what? No, that's a bad idea. No. You know what? This is what I need. Not status formation. And... okay. Those Yukon guilds you hear about all the time? Oh, you know what? Yeah. Okay. I'll do that. Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you, thank you. I'm just gonna end stream right now and I'm gonna get some steak. No, I'm kidding. Blink tone? Increase the double image, raising evasion. Who knows? Does anyone know Blink? You know Blink. Okay. So you can only have so many spells. I forgot how many the game said. And then you have to forget some if you want to learn others. Damn it. I don't have time for this shit, okay? Goodbye. Anyway, thank you again. Seriously. Thank you. There you go. Gordon's in the back row. We're fine now. Rooms of Nothing. My favorite. Well, you're doing a good job, Zave. Alright, what's up here? Okay, that's probably what I need to get. There's a room, another room. I wish I knew what were in these rooms. Holy shit. Wow, nothing. It's just a room everywhere. Okay, well. I'm never getting skills up for running away. Some sleep and enchiladas. Yes, there you go. I'm just running away now. I'm done. I'm good. Hey. Mallet is an item. Antidote. Eye drops. I'm good at running away. That's nice. Goodbye. Alright, this looks like... just in case. Oh wait, hold on. Gordon. Monsters. Mine? Where are mines? Do you die? Oh, lordy. I'm gonna die. Oh no, okay, we're fine. We don't need Gordon. You'd have the enemy lasso you back if you try to run away. If you design games. Oh, golden armor. Ooh. I'll give it to Zave because you can't use a shield. No, that was fine. See, he's back. Perfect. Anything else I need here? Just to go down and around? Okay. Welcome back, Gordon. Jeez, I should just make everybody be monks. Yes? No. I like that this dungeon has just the fanciest music. Yeah, run away. We killed him with one. That's really not much. Jesus, okay. Yeah, the new soundtrack's amazing. No, my powerhouse. That's right. Okay. More monsters, so let's heal real quick. Do we need magic? Do I have magic point? No, I have no ethers. Alright. Okay. Hopefully I don't die. Oh. I'd heard there was a monster guarding Eagle's torch. Now I've seen it with my own eyes. It's a red soul. Blah. You, Blizzard? Okay, nope. Okay. Shell? Punching? I don't know, just exist, okay? 2 148. Do you have shell? Oh my god, Zave, you are so strong. Yahoo! Okay, you found Angel's torch in the chest. It's because you're fighting for your life with me in control. You've been perfectly fine. Thank you. Someone dying? Oh, Furion, where'd your hit points go? Is Max doing the everything is fine thing, but every I in fine makes it less okay? Sure, yeah. Oops, I'm poisoned. What you said. Torch. Oh, I just stole the fire. The sunfire moves to the Eagle's torch. Yeah, the combat's fast. Okay, now I just leave. Goodbye. Oh. I know, I made it extra butchered. Oh my god, are they fighting? So... your page pooped itself? I assume I have to go back to Altair. Welcome back. What's this? Oh, there's chocobos! Yes! Hello! I found a chocobo! The game has chocobos! Yeah! Wow! Sorry, very excited. Why didn't the game tell me this? Is this the only place with chocobos? Well, it's on the map now. Yeah, I was wondering if the airship was gonna bomb the area. Time to explore. I'm not getting off the chocobo yet. What is th- Oh, look at this suspicious shit. I can't leave the chocobo. I would probably die. Okay. Never get off. Shut down the game. We've won. We've won. Game over. Alright, what else is down here? Show me all your suspicious things, please. Hey, wow. I found it. I found the dreadnought. Yeah, you saw the little island too? It's New Zealand, you're right. I'm still not getting off the chocobo because I'm not supposed to be, I'm not sure if I'm just not sure. Yeah, the Moogles would be amazing. Alright, this map is insane. This is an interconnected, weird... Okay, this is interesting. Huh. Well, let's go down this way. It's over here. A weird ass map. See, my ass would have walked all that way and been like, what's over there? Anything? No. Okay. I suppose it makes sense that it's interconnected, except I just didn't expect it. I want to cross the river so bad and see what's over here, but I will die. Maybe. Oh, man. It's just like the Earth. Okay. Well, I didn't see any other chocobo forests. So maybe that's the only one in the world. Hi, Penny Lane, how you doing? What's up? How's it going? I just got a chocobo, and now I can freely wander the land, but I can never get off. Well, not yet. Oh, I can't go to the grocery store today. I look insane. I'm gonna make steak tomorrow when I'm not crazy looking. That's why I made the chicken teriyaki, because that's all I had the food left over. I had some chicken and I was like, I gotta make it tasty, so I made teriyaki. Yeah, no, I look like, oh yeah, no, it'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow will be steak day. Oh my god. I don't have hats. Oh, I clicked off the... No! No, I clicked off! Fuck! That's okay, I'm right here. That's where I wanted to be. Shitballs. God damn. You ordered a new foot file set because the bottoms of your feet are so dead they don't feel anything, and it's magic. But, so if it's... Are your feet, like, super calloused and that's why you don't feel anything? And if that's the case, wouldn't that be nice? And not want to file that down? I don't have a hat. I'll figure it out. If I don't do it tonight, I'll do it tomorrow. Aw, flah. No, I don't have a hat. I don't wear hats. I might have, like, a winter hat. That's not cold. I said, maybe I do it today, maybe I do it tomorrow when I don't look insane. Alright, I gotta walk. This sucks. I'm not wearing that sun hat, and I also don't know where it is. I put it somewhere safe, and then I lost it. It's so much gross dead skin, and it feels awful, and it cracks and hurts. Oh, okay, never mind. That makes more sense. You gotta moisturize that shit. I'm weird because I don't have a hat? Why would I need a hat? This is the first time I've actually bleached my roots and not immediately dyed them. It was just so late last night and I was like, I don't feel like pushing it. What you do is you put lotion on your feet and then you put your feet in baggies and then you just let it sit and marinate. That's how you do it. My glasses are, I don't remember the word. They get dark in the sun. No, I look crazy. I look crazy. Yes, transitions. Thank you. I don't know if I was supposed to be here, but I'm here now. Tell me what to do, game. Oh. Well, the princess was captured. And of course this is all your fault too. You blow up the dreadnought. You couldn't blow your way out of a cloth sack. I'm gonna kill you, Grandpa. I just received word that the dreadnought is heading somewhere north of Finn. Yeah, I found it. That... Fuck. Ah. We're blowhards, we can blow anything? That's the spirit. Was I just supposed to go to Dreadnought? I don't know. The princess felt badly about always sending you out on such dangerous assignments. She thought the least she could do was to meet you at Kashuan Keep on Sid's airship. Oh. Just in case. The amount of supplies needed to keep a vessel of that size running must be enormous. We'll have to sit down somewhere eventually. God damn it. I was where I was supposed to be. Should of course start an only feat? Yes, there you go. Please, please rescue my daughter. Okay, so... Goddamn. I'm gonna look at this. Yep. Take a quick peek. That's where I was supposed to go. But I was also supposed to do this, I guess. My feet are gnarly. I don't think anyone wants to see them. Alright, so we'll go to the inn. That's not the inn. We'll go back to the inn, which was right over here. Yeah, there we go. Sure. We will... I can't use the airship. I had like two or three. Yeah. They were weird. I still don't believe that they wanted to see my feet. I think they were confused. I just gotta go north. Alright, let's go. Picture the cat feet, actually. Not a bad idea. Do I have items? Yeah, I do. Alright, let's just go this way. The slow way. Whatever gets you through the day. Can I... is this... it is. Haha! Hacks! You like the water animation? Alright, so far these enemies aren't gonna kill me, which is good. Oh, maybe I should have gotten... no, that's right. It's like more antidotes? Magician, eh? Okay. Stun Tome. Teaches the stun spell. Inflicts paralysis when used in battle. Ooh, you. There you go. Enjoy. Whew. Where the... There it is. I was like, I swear it was here somewhere. Oh, maybe I can steal the dreadnought. Yeah, he's not really great. Hello. Dreadnought. They're monsters? Well, what do you want? Oh shit. No, I'm not a rebel. No. Fine, eat shit. Okay, no, don't eat shit. Maybe eat shit. Come on, Dave. My bad. I can't escape. Okay, I'm just gonna die. Yeah. Oh, well, no. Oh my god, you did it! That's... Oops. Well, you know. Cool, I guess. Yeah, I'm totally supposed to be in here. Hello. Can I talk to you? Are you gonna kill me? Okay, they're gonna kill me. Never mind. I think I'm supposed to show the pass. I don't think I'm supposed to kill everybody in here. Okay. I'm gonna try this again without... I don't know if I'm doing that right. Damn, your hit points are going up though. Screw it, I'm gonna look, I'm curious. Alright, it doesn't say anything. Whatever. Oh, have a good night, Dorlana. You take it easy. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Alright. Don't talk to anyone. Are there monsters in there? There's were-panthers. These are C-O-E-U-R-L, whatever those, however that's pronounced. Oh, there's so many. Yeah, I'm going in these rooms. Why are there monsters in this dreadnought? I feel like that's not good, it's just not good. let's level that up. Hello? Hello? Oh. Why am I in the middle of the room? That drives me nuts. Okay, money. Okay, so it lowers the amount of hits you do also. Okay, interesting. Hey, it leveled up. Hey, nothing. Perfect. I don't know where I'm going. Gordon can be my meat shield. Rude. Rude. Am I going the right way? Damn it! No, I am not. Perfect. Oh, dark bow. A bow that can plunge its target into darkness. Adds blind. Okay. Oh my god, my accuracy goes down to 24%? Sure, whatever. We'll do it for a hot second, see what happens. No, it's not worth it at all, but I'm curious. Eventually when Gordon gets to shoot. That hit. I mean, it seems to be hitting. I definitely should have gotten more potions. Thief's glove. Huh. Oh, look at that defense. Holy moly. Dave gets it because he's really strong. You're really strong. I want you to be well protected. Stunner? You are a powerhouse. Hello? You want to... Oh! I opened the iron gate. Hello! Firion, I meant to meet you at Kashuan Keep, but things didn't go as planned. I'm sorry. Thank you for coming to rescue me. Let's save the thank yous for later. I'll head for the airship with the princess. You find that engine and toss the sunfire in it, got it? I'm gonna get the airship ready for takeoff, and I don't plan on waiting around long. Okay. There's 2 chests over there. Oh lordy. Yeah, escort missions, not my favorite. This was a rescue mission. Rescue and destroy. Alright, let's get those 2... Why ambush? Let's get those 2 chests. Jeez. Oh, they're all blind. Oops. I forgot. My bad. Here we go. High potion, potion. Oh, weird looking rats. One day. There we go. Oh, his hit points went up. Why am I always ambushed? Why? Your airship sucks. No, I want to leave. No, let me leave. Oh, come on. Stop standing around. The princess escaped. Are you shitting me? Well, whatever. This is the end of stream, so. I can't beat his ass right now. I'm sorry. Even though I killed a whole bunch of his people, I'm still pretending like I belong there somehow. Oh, I'm going to be so annoyed. Oh, you best believe I am. I probably might reload a save because I definitely don't have enough healing items. I definitely should have got more potions. But, you know, that's a problem for future me. Thank you for streaming, no problem. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Let me close this. Yeah, we leave that to future me. Honestly, what I'll probably do is I'll probably reload my save while I'm eating tonight and doing some work. I'll just run around, do what I just did, you know, get some potions, do what I just did, you know, quick save, and then when I stream tomorrow, we'll continue on. You won't even know there was anything different. See? All right, give me a second. Here are all my socials. Just got back. What whole Final Fantasy 2 is nice. You're playing in reverse, so you're on 6? Have you never played 6 before? That's fun. When I got the Pixel Remaster, 6 was the first one I played too, but that's because it's one of my favorites. I hope you enjoy it. I think they did a really good job. Except everyone will be super buff and loaded with items. Yes. You haven't played them at all? Oh man. Well, I hope you enjoy 6. It's my favorite. I think it's a very good game, especially for its time. You know. Yeah, please enjoy it. Let me know how much you enjoyed, if you enjoyed at all. Yes. Anyway, those are my socials, so if any of them appeal to you, please feel free to click them and follow me and, you know, all that fun dopamine stuff. Let me fix this real quick. Oh no, never. I would never play off stream without you guys. Never, ever. Unfathomable. If your Dory brain remembers, okay. More like if you play 6 and you're just like, this game is great, I need to talk about it to someone. I'm your girl. You talk to me about it. Alright, let me see what's going on real quick. I could scream? I could scream. I could stream the grinding in Discord. I could, but I probably won't, because I need to, after stream, I actually do a lot of stuff, and I'm still debating on if I'm going to go to the grocery store or not, and if I do, it'll be like an hour of cooking. 40 minutes. Final Fantasy IV Google translated script? Excuse me, hold on guys. Yeah, alright. I keep rating BGG, but he's good people, so sometimes he's grouchy, but that's alright. Oh no, never mind. Dinah has raided me a whole bunch. We're gonna raid him. If his stream wants to work. Okay, we have to wait 30 seconds for a commercial break. Slag's on 2. I'll do her next time. I want to pay back raid kindness first. So. Yes, payback. Ah. Anyway, I will be on tomorrow, same time, you know, 4:30-ish Central. We'll continue more Final Fantasy 2. I don't know if you guys realize, but this is just really mostly like chill, hang out while I fight a billion random battles, and then occasional plot. So, if that's okay. Payback, your favorite form of donating, Max. So I hope you guys like hanging out. Yeah, the older games like this, like I said, not not too much brain power in figuring out what the hell's going on, but I think that's kind of nice in its own way. So, it's not. You like that it's not convoluted like Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is not convoluted. I swear to God. Oh my God, that's Chrono Cross that's convoluted. All right, it's Chrono Cross. Also, I know you're happy that I basically put you in the game, so yeah. Thanks for stream. Have a nice day. You guys have a nice day too. Okay, so those are my socials. If you haven't followed, please feel free to follow so you know that I'm streaming. Also, it's just cool and I like it. And oh God, I think Dying's ending. Hold on a second. Are you ending? Hold on. I'm gonna mute this. Okay, sorry. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, this is all. Boy, if something's.
Alright, I will raid BGG. Sorry. Fun note, you did beat Earth in this one game, stabbing it enough. That's awesome. Alright, we're gonna raid BGG. Paste. Sorry guys. Sorry. I had to ask Dine if he was ending stream. He's like, yup, I was gonna raid you and you looked like you were ending. I'm like, yup, you're ending too, my bad. Alright, he's playing, BGG's playing Google translated script of Final Fantasy IV, so I'm assuming it's insane. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll be on tomorrow. I hope you guys have a very, very good night. Vito, you're climbing towards the void. Are you okay? You never told me if cake was from your birthday, if you were having a birthday. And if you are, happy birthday, and if not, no? Yeah, it sounds wonderfully cursed, so I'm excited. Alright, anyway, I gotta go. I'm going now. I talk too much and too many rambles. You don't need this. Okay? No? Great. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!